Body bags were horror lies.
Top of the morning to you, and welcome to another episode of Body Bags here on Friday, and it happens to be St. Patty's Day. Woo! So if you're a big drinker, have a pint for me, alright? So I decided to do a film from 2014 that actually gets a lot of hate, but I don't know, when I first watched it for the very first time, finally, after all these years, it actually wasn't a bad film. I'm talking about from the Leprechaun franchise, from 2014, Leprechaun Origins. Yes, Leprechaun Origins. Now, I can see where this movie gets a lot of hate. One, it's called Leprechaun Origins. It has nothing to do with the franchise with Warwick Davis. I think if they called it something different, I think it would have gotten a little better review or better likes. It's also in this Leprechaun pack, which has all the Leprechaun films, including the Origins. Now, Sci-Fi Channel did a movie called Red Clover, also known as Leprechaun's Revenge. I think they changed it to Red Clover because of the Leprechaun franchise. So I think if WWE did a changeover for Leprechaun Origins, I think it actually probably did a little bit better. But since they put it in with the franchise, it got a lot of hate. Well, pretty much for Leprechaun Origins, you have a bunch of Americans going through backpacking through Ireland. Through the last week, decided to check out this small little village. It's on a little brochure saying it's got a lot of history. Your main character, she's in love with history. She's a big history buff. Well, there's something wrong with this town, as you can tell with a lot of these different kind of horror movies. They find a little couple that decide to rent a little shack, kind of, so they can go out and check the Stone of the Gods, which is a stone sculpture that's big for the history buffs. They decided, why not? Let's go check it out. Well, lo and behold, there happens to be a little leprechaun running around killing people. Now, the leprechaun does not look like the leprechaun from from the Leprechaun franchise. This thing looks more like an ape-like creature. The facial structure is weird. It's walking on like almost fours here and there. It's more primitive than a leprechaun we've all seen. And no. Well, they don't do much of the backstory. But come to find out, this town was in a mining expedition and they found the leprechaun's gold. And they stole all the gold. Well, now, they're going to pay its dues. So, of course, they feed it gold and tourists. Don't understand, they don't show why they're feeding them the tourists. I can see with the gold and giving it back the gold, but why feed it? That's the thing. I know they say that it did terrorize the town before, but again, a lot of loopholes in this story. So of course now it's a struggle for survival for these Americans against this little leprechaun creature. Now, that's pretty much the synopsis. Now, my thoughts on this movie. Okay. If you go into it blind and don't think of it as a leprechaun film, okay, it might be a little fun watch, which I thought it was. If you look at it as a creature feature, you can do that. That'll actually probably work for you. Don't go in this film thinking it's a prequel to the Warwick Davis movies, because it is not. To do with it. If you go into it as a prequel, you're gonna find yourself having a bad time because this movie will ruin it. The Warwick Davis films are way better than this movie. What this movie has going for you, though, is it's got a good storyline, good little plot. It's been done before with, a small town that's been ravaged by some kind of creature or monster they've fucked up in the past, and now they're repaying by feeding it people or tourists or anything. It does have some gore to it. It's got not a lot of blood, not a lot of craziness, but it's got a little bit of good gore, some good kills, good high body count. So that was a plus. Again, the bad side is they're calling it Leprechaun Origins. Again, if they called it something else, maybe like, I don't know, Fool's Gold or something to do like maybe the name of the town, the town's revenge. I don't know. Sorry, got a little dry. Just maybe change the name. I think if they change the name again, this would make the movie a little bit more enjoyable for people to go out and pick it up and watch. Instead of calling Origins, because again, it doesn't work. So, going to a blind and not think of it as a Leprechaun franchise movie, I will probably give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. It was a lot of fun. Now, if you're going into it as a franchise film, you're going way below like 4 to 3. So, again, I give it a 6.5 because I'm going into it as a non-franchised film. A lot of plot holes in the story. I wish they would do a little bit more on the history of why this monster needs to feed, why this monster needs to kill. They did a little bit of it, but they needed to do a little bit more. Yeah. So anyway, that's it for my review for Leprechaun Origins. Thank you very much, guys. Again, enjoy your St. Patty's Day. Don't drink too much where you're going to get alcohol poisoning or shit-faced drunk or hurting anybody. Just have a good couple pints, have a couple drinks, and relax. And enjoy the weekend, guys. All right. Have yourself a good one. Later. Peace.